Welcome, guys, to the fourth episode of Roofing Stories, where we actually go deep into industry, talking to plenty of roofing companies, and discussing their ways of getting leads, their way of building the successful company there are. Right, we had a pleasure to talk with multiple companies such as Trust Roofing and multiple sales guys, multiple backgrounds, but this time we have somebody who actually served the US military, which is extremely honorable to talk to and see how they're doing right now. And yeah, I mean, we're here with Trey, so introduce yourself, Trey. Let us know like more about your past and military experience, because many people are actually interested in all of this stuff.
Um, my name is Trey. I am
Mhm.
the CEO of Hermetic Roofing. We are based out in Eastern North Carolina. So if you're ever out in the Eastern North Carolina area, need a roof replacement, repair, give us a call. We'll definitely be able to help you guys out. Um, I literally went in the Army literally right after high school. Um, for me, my grandpa served, so that was kind of like an inspiration for me. Um, and at that time, man, you're young. I know a lot of guys come from, a different background than me. I really didn't, have my father in my life until like later on, until I was a little bit older. My mom was a single mom, worked two jobs. I had a little brother. So, there was a lot of, extra kind of conquer to, get to where I really wanted to be and needed to be in life. Um, and I always seen how good the Army did for my grandpa and other, others at the time. So it was kind of easy for me, man. I graduated, um, had a couple of scholarships to go play football, man. I tried that out. Young, dumb, 18 years old, man, wanting to party, hang out. I kind of automatically knew, hey, I got to do something else. I got to get some discipline. I got to, buckle down. Um, did my time, went to Iraq, Afghanistan, came back home. Um, and it was like an eye opener, man. A lot of times, and I know a lot of other guys can this. You get home and you got to find a purpose of what to do. You got to find kind of get in where you fit in type of thing. And normally when you're done, there's really not that many programs for guys that are transitioning out to really, get them on the track to where they really need to be. So I did struggle for a little bit. I tried the private contractor route. I tried. I thought about law enforcement, but it just wasn't my niche. Um, and then I end up, meeting a young lady, and next thing you know, we have a young family. So then, I'm a father now. So then, the whole dynamics change. Like you have to do something. You not only do you have to take care of yourself, you have to take care of, your wife, your girlfriend. You got this new baby involved. You got to take care of that. So I kind of bounced around, man. Like I said, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Really didn't have too much guidance. I end up moving to where my wife now is originally from, Eastern North Carolina, in New Bern,
Mhm.
and moved down here, man. Small little town, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle. So shortly after I moved here, man, I ended up meeting a couple of good guys. Actually, one of my former bosses, I met him in Jacksonville. This is maybe a couple weeks after Hurricane Florence. And literally, I immediately just kind of dove right in. We were doing mitigation, dry outs, tarping, all across the East Coast, man. And I fell in love with it. It was like a passion. It's something that the biggest thing for me is always like a selfless service, like being able to, help somebody else without getting anything in return.
Mhm.
And that makes me feel good. A lot of guys feel the same way.
Absolutely.
It's a good morale booster. So I did that for, almost 2 years, man. I worked in North Carolina, I worked in South Carolina. Their main office was based down in Boynton Beach, Florida. So I worked down there in Florida some. And dude, I loved every minute of it, dude. Like you couldn't get me off the roof, you couldn't get me out, you couldn't get me working. I loved every minute of it, man.
Mhm.
And I was trying to grow. They were, other things they wanted to do. At that time, my We were working on our second child. We had another child, my youngest son.
Hmm.
And, at that point in time, my wife didn't want to move. They were going to, make it back down to the Florida area. And that wasn't something that was in our cards at the time. So go to another roofing company, man. That one
Oh.
wasn't so good.
Yeah,
um,
I mean, no, nothing beats Florida roofing companies.
yeah, I worked really hard, man. Um, and our integrities just didn't line up, and
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. So our integrities didn't line up. It just wasn't a good fit for me. I feel like my values are a little bit different than what their values were, and some of the things that they were doing, I just couldn't be a part of. So I
Hmm.
separated myself from that. I took a really big leap, man. Like I literally left the company, left a salary, left a lot of things, and I started my own company. Literally right there in the house that
Hmm.
had me and my wife at the time.
So
Uh,
it was, from nothing to something, you would say.
Man, I don't tell too many people this, but the day I came home and I left my job, I had $17 in my account. My rent was
Oh,
due, truck payment was due, insurance was due, my food, kids, everything was coming up. And I sat down, talked to my wife, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this." She was like, "Go, take care of it, do whatever you got to do."
yeah.
And ever since then, man, I just never looked back. It's just been an ongoing grind since then. We had a really good first year. Then, we dove into our second year. We had a crazy amount of growth. I mean, to where I wouldn't even think we would be where we were. And, we're just going to continue kind of capitalizing on that from here. We're in a small town, man. My first office was in a, town of what, I think 400 or 500 people. So that can kind of give you the the amount of reach you had. And then even if you go, it's 10 year radius for another hour. I mean, I'm still probably still under 40,000 people in my hour terrain, my hour
Hmm.
location. So I mean, it's a hustle, man. You kind of
Absolutely.
there, and you got to put in the work. A lot of
Hmm.
guys don't want to put in the work. They think it's just something that's just gonna pop
Yeah.
out of nowhere. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. you know
Definitely. I mean,
Eh,
and to do what you did definitely requires strength and discipline, right? And as somebody who thought about going to the army myself, right? What would you say? Would you say that going to the army is something that made Trey the Trey he is now, or you think you would be able to do it without the discipline and the army and the struggle and the service? Do you think that it has a connection to your success right now?
oh, absolutely, man. I think it brings out that raw talent in you. Everybody, you have it in you already.
Hmm.
It takes something or someone to help bring that out. And you need to have the structure to go behind it too. You have to be able to have the same process every single day.
Hmm.
You have to enjoy the process, and that's what the army teaches you, man. It's a process. You have to love the process. Without the love of the process, no matter how disciplined you are, no matter how skilled you are, how knowledgeable you are, if you don't love the process to get to that point or to get to that reward, I mean, it's not going to do anything for you, man. It's really not.
Hmm. Hmm. So, it's all about enjoying the process, but you said you've been in this for 2 years, and obviously you had previous experience working in the multiple roofing companies. So during that process, because it seems to be quite fast, quote unquote, what was the biggest struggle? You know, starting the company out, because you said you started with $18, and as we know, I mean, we both run businesses, different businesses, but it takes money to make money.
Mhm.
How did you go from somebody who has $18 on his bank account, not knowing anything or any direction? I mean, working the business is different from running the business. It's totally different play game and different game. How does somebody go from $18 to making 7.2 million in 2 years, right?
Um, you got to work, man. So like my first year, I just get the distractions away, you know. Um, and there's different avenues to take. I would always, tell other guys that are starting off, man, build up some cash flow, find you a good mentor, and then go, but if you're in a situation where, you may not have that, you're going to have to just put in the work. It's just simple as that. There's no magic pill to take. You're going to have to get up every day, put your boots on, and go get on some roofs every single day. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Monday, don't take any days off. You don't get to call it quits. You don't get to, 9 to 5 it. You have to get out there and make it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to really follow your numbers too, man. I'm a big numbers guy. I look at, where I'm at, the community I'm serving, the amount of reach I can get to, and I kind of take that all in when I'm making decisions for the company. Um, Once you do start bringing in some cash, you got to, like you said, you got to spend some money to make some money, man. A lot of guys want to, go out and, get a fancy truck, do this, do that, jet ski, boats. No, man, put the money back in the business. Let the money work for the business, man. Don't put it
Yeah.
in your pocket. Don't go buy you this. Don't go buy you that. Really put that money back in and save and invest it, man.
Yeah.
You have to have something for a rainy day, especially if you start getting into the insurance game. You have to have a serious cash flow.
Yeah.
I worked a hurricane. My first year in business, man, you have to have money in the bank to go do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be able to front the payroll. You have to be able to front materials. You have to get all this
Yeah.
stuff done to keep everything running. And you don't need to get into the rat race of, robbing Peter to pay Paul back and forth. That's not a good company model. That's not a good structure for any company.
Definitely. Definitely.
So I believe in, taking if you're starting off, no matter how much money you have, if you have 100K, you have 18, you have, 10,000, whatever it is, keep putting that money back in your company and invest in stuff that's going to help you, your team, and the company grow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, so how would you say you kept this cash flow going? I mean, I see that being a struggle for many companies I work for. They have a lot of insurance work. It's 20, 30 roofs waiting it, and they need to keep the cash flow going because they pay their workers $8,000 a month, right? So how do you keep the cash flow going when you are waiting for this insurance to actually wire you the funds that you are actually waiting for?
Man, you got to have multiple things going on at a time. So for us, my biggest success for our company, man, I divvy in everything. We do re-roofs, we do repairs. I have about 11 realtors all over the East Coast that I work with every single day. I have 5 builders that we do new construction houses for on a regular. You have to have multiple avenues of money coming in. If you're waiting on insurance money, you should be able to still go do retail jobs and bring in more money. You should still be able to go do new construction jobs and bring in more money. You know.
Yeah.
Then when you get to the next level, like we do a bunch of DoD jobs, you have to have enough money for those net 30, net 60 payments. You got to keep
Mm-hmm.
that stuff going. So for me, man, I think we just we always have something going on. Even today, I mean, I got my guys out doing a 60 square, new construction. We're going to turn around and do 120 squares on Monday.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop. You got to just keep it going, man. There's a need out there, and you have to find it, and you have to be able to, take that from a lead to a sale to a close to a
Yep.
check, and just keep
Yep.
that same process going, and that's how you do it.
Takes
And
multiple sales points.
just follow your numbers, man. Like if you're going to be a big, insurance company, then hey, you're going to probably need a little bit more cash flow than a guy that's doing 100% retail, because you're waiting on the RCV, you're waiting on the depreciation to come, and things like that. I mean, even sometimes you might even have to finance a deductible for some homeowners if it's a larger lump sum. So I mean, you're going to have to keep multiple avenues of revenue coming in. And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of guys get hung up on that. They want to do, hey, we just do strictly insurance or we do strictly retail. You know, I try to make it my process that every single week we're doing insurance, we're doing retail, we're doing new construction. Okay. We're getting leads from our realtors. We're helping them out, helping their clients out, you know. Then, we branch off to doing other things. Like, I mean, we do roofs at ECU. We did, roofs at, Western Carolina. We get on
Yep.
base. You just keep putting yourself out there, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like my sergeant
So,
said, man, you can never miss a shot you don't take. If you don't pull
oh,
the trigger, it's not, you
that
can't miss, you don't
that
pull it.
that's a good one.
So just keep going at it. That's like the best advice I can give.
Yeah. So you mentioned, the hardships and the struggle. And when it comes to the army and stuff, did you have any struggles, while you were serving in Iraq? I mean, I watched the movies, and I'm not somebody who has experience with the army life. What was your biggest struggle there? I mean, were you married back then, or you were no?
Mhm. Um, the biggest struggle back then was honestly, man, is keeping the morale up. You know,
Hmm.
once you do get into like an NCO position or a leadership position, you got to keep the morale up with your guys. Because
Hmm.
there are guys like you said over there, they are married, they do have kids,
Yeah,
man, and you know, I'll keep it PG. When
you
shit
don't
hits,
need to.
no, when shit hits the fan, man, you gotta dial in. You gotta just try to keep everybody focused. I was infantry, so I seen a lot more so than what I probably wanted to see. Um, and for that, man, it's literally, man, you got to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm,
Warrior, you can't quit. Cause then you quit, the enemy just got the best of you. So, and then you got
yeah,
to then, like I said, it's selfless service. It's not really about you. There was guys beside me that had kids and wives, guys in front of me that had kids and wives. Like I can't let them down. You don't want to be that guy to where, hey man, my head wasn't on the swivel, and then you know
yeah,
my right hand man, he's hurt or he's
yeah,
even worse, and they got family and kids back home. You don't want to never be in that type of position. So,
yeah. I mean,
the number
you were the leader.
and keeping and staying focused, man. And you got to just know what the mission you're trying to accomplish, whether it's
Yeah,
to get home or to clear a certain territory, wherever it may be. Just keep that mission in the forefront. Keep your guys' morale up, and you're going to run into bumps and you're going to run into obstacles, but think on your feet, think quick, and always put the
yeah,
next guy in front of you. Think about them
yeah.
before you think about yourself.
So if you had to take three lessons from army, from the war, realistically, that you right now use or used in business, what three lessons would that be? The most important lessons that have directly connected to your army and war experience. I mean, it
Uh,
doesn't need. Yeah.
yeah, man. Like I said, it's a team thing. You're
Okay.
only as good as the weakest guy on your team. So it's a camaraderie, man. Keep your guys motivated. I'm big on a lot of guys. Maybe heard me say this. I'm real big of being in the trenches with my guys. I roll up my sleeves. I don't just send my guys out just to go pound doors or to run appointments or run adjuster appointments or to sell deals. I'm out there with them. You got to lead from the front, not the back. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons I learned. Good leaders always lead from the front. You know, I can think of a handful of guys that I look up to that are non-military and military, and I think the biggest thing I take from them is they're out there in the trenches. They're out there putting the work in with their team, and the respect that their team has for them, you can never beat it. Um, I think number two, man, um, jump on every opportunity that you can. Take that shot. If you miss, okay, recite, readjust, do it again. And then learn from how you did miss the shot so you don't make the same mistake twice. Let's see. The third one I would probably take, man, is learn where to be a warrior and learn where to be, you know, just you got to be soft and you got to be a wolf at the same time. So learn how to play both of those cards when it's time and to do the most. So a lot of guys like to be gun ho 24/7. A lot of guys like to be laid back 24/7. Just find your median and work with that too.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, those are definitely the good lessons. And let's get back into the roofing. Obviously, there is a lot of mental game and a lot of mental efforts going into running a business. And the lessons that you learned, for sure, as you said, have defined you as a man, as a character, as a business owner. And that's definitely great to see because we are mixes of our experiences in the past and in the future, right? So it's the lessons are definitely some lessons everybody can benefit from, and thank you for sharing those. And as a roofing company, how would you say you can generate more leads? what are the general advice, and how do you, I mean, we touched this before on our private conversation. You said you focus on referrals and being and having a good, good recommendations by the previous clients. So how do you generate those leads? How do you become so good that actually clients are referring you to somebody else?
Um, you gotta you gotta do what you say you're gonna do, man. You under promise, you over deliver, and on you capitalize on your most recent victory. Like I said, I pride myself as a owner, and I try to, put my team in a position to win. So if we're doing one house on the street, I want to do five of them. I want to do the whole cul-de-sac. And then, my clients are my biggest advocates, man. I mean, there's been countless times last year where we're signing a deal, we're doing a repair, or we're in the middle of a roof replacement, man, and the homeowner would literally take us over to his neighbor and say, "Hey, man, this guy, or these guys, or this, they're doing such a great job, man. I really appreciate what they're doing. The roof is going on great. Everything's looking good." And nine times out of ten, that's your best salesperson right there, you know, and you capitalize on that. So, I use my referrals. I use, the neighborhood that I'm in to generate more business as well. So I kind of try to dive in and pinpoint the areas that we are working and capitalize on that. Like 2 weeks ago, we did a roof replacement firm insurance through USAA. From the time he called to the time we replaced the roof was less than 2 weeks. Okay, that's
Hmm.
with the adjuster appointment. That's with tarps. We're working to supplement the whole 9 yards. But on that same road, that was our 14th roof. Okay, I've literally replaced his neighbor. I replaced the guy in front. I replaced the guy to the left, to the right, and behind. So that's the biggest thing I try to tell everybody to capitalize on, man. Just use what you have right in front of you, man. That's your biggest asset,
Hmm. Hmm.
your
For
clients are
sure.
your asset. So, I mean, and that actually helps us, man. I think honestly, when it boils down to it, um, I think my clients with the referrals, I know for a fact my clients generate seven figures worth of business for us every single year.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
just off of just referrals alone.
Hmm. So the biggest debate here, and the stuff we talked about privately, is Facebook or Google. Which is better for contractors?
Um, honestly, man, any the best advice I can give for any new contractor or any guy that's,
Hmm.
with his first, year or 3 years of business or under their fifth year, Google, Google, Google. Get your
Nice.
B right. Get that stuff together. And honestly, man, do not be afraid to spend some money and get it done right. Do not take the cheaper option. Oh my God, do not take the option, man. It's gonna literally save you so much headache and so much stress. Okay.
Hmm.
And when Alex, when somebody is literally looking for something, and I thought about it when you said it, when somebody's looking for something and they're ready to do business, or they're ready to purchase or ready to buy, they're not going to Facebook. They're literally going right to Google. And you
Exactly.
I like literally I went to go get a suit for my father-daughter dance. I needed one within like 3 days.
Hmm.
Google.
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
Google. So that's very true. I'm not saying Facebook does not work. I mean, I've
It works.
generated plenty of revenue from Facebook, plenty of reroutes from Facebook, but honestly, hands down, I think Google is your solid choice. So if
Yeah.
you literally, if I told a contractor, hey man, you have your last $10,000, would you put your last 10 grand into Facebook? Would you put it into Google? I would tell them to choose Google every time.
Yeah, I mean, you said like many people try to get the stuff done for cheap, and that's the biggest issue. Cheap stuff usually ends up costing way more than actually paying the quality right away and right from the get-go. Like we charged $3,000 per month, right? And then I constantly get these guys who say, but this guy is charging me only 500. Okay, yeah, sure, but what quality are you getting? And check how much ad spend you're spending. Like before we came to the company in Denver, they were spending $30,000 a month, and all they got was like 10 replacements for $30,000 a month. and he wasn't really aware of it because he's not really tech savvy, right? This guy doesn't know anything about the tech, and many of them get burned by deciding and making bad decisions, and then they hate all the marketing people, right? I mean, reality is that there is a lot of bad people, but
Yeah.
just like in roofing,
It's in
the
any
same goes any industry.
yeah, you got your good and you got your bad apples.
Yeah,
Um so for that, the biggest thing is, just like how you tell your homeowner don't go with the cheaper option, you got to take your own advice. The same advice you give your clients, take the same advice for yourself, for your business.
yeah,
Yeah, you can go with the guy that's, 10 grand cheaper, but I mean, where's the warranty? Where's the guarantee? Are you going to have any support on the back end? Something goes wrong, 11 o'clock at night. Is your guy going to jump on and look at your, Google My Business or look at your ads for you and help you out? It's like
yeah,
little things like that that kind of, it builds the value in what you're really getting,
for sure.
you know? Um, and the biggest thing, like I said, man, invest in your company early on and you'll get the bigger return.
Yeah,
You'll be able to, scale. You'll be able to do more things, offer more incentives to your guys, take care of your team better if you go ahead and invest some money early on and, find somebody just like yourself that's an expert in that niche. Um, when I, need my trucks or anything works on, I have one guy that I normally go to because he's just an expert in that, or, whatever else you may need. When I go to a gun store, I go to the same guy I go to for the last 3 years, because he's an expert in that niche. So,
yeah,
find your expert in the niche, find your good marketer, find you a good, CPA and find you a good supplementing team and literally, work work with them, bring them value too, and listen to them,
hmm
man, because that's what they do every day for a living. I put on roofs every day, so when people ask me what I think, I think they take my advice as a true professional. Same thing for your marketer, man. If that's what he does every day to support his family and support his team, take his advice and listen, man, and it'll work out.
hmm What would you say is importance of general marketing for the roofing companies? Like, do you think there is a need to implement all these systems, Google, Facebook ads, LSA, local service ads, right? Or do you think word of the mouth and door knocking is enough? Or do you think we are getting to end of this era of door knocking, referrals, and so on? Do you
So
think it will
I
be a
will
must?
I will never knock the door knocking. The last company I worked for, they were big on door knocking. And I mean, I was pretty successful door knocking when I was with them. Um, for us, I'll be 100% honest. We do not knock any doors. And that's something for us that we kind of choose to set us apart from other people. And I'm not knocking doors. I'm not knocking people that knock doors. I think, hey, when you first start, when I literally my first 6 months of business, buddy, I was every single day. So I don't knock it. I'm not saying it's not successful, but as you start, building yourself up, you start seeing the value in your time too. So, if I go out and I knock, for 5, 6 hours a day and I only generate, two leads or three inspections, you know, what if I took that same, same time or whatever you would normally pay yourself as an owner, as a boss or a sales guy, you take that same amount of money and you invest it into something else, Google, Facebook, whatever you may
Yeah,
do, you'll probably end up getting a higher, return on that than you would
yeah,
just, going the door knocking route. But
yeah,
honestly, I think, you got to find what's best for you. Like I said, it all goes back to knowing your numbers, in a population city with 5 million people, I mean, you probably have a good, good chance of door knocking and um, running your Google, running your three map pack, and kind of going into that SEO as well. Get somebody that's good to do your SEO. But I think you need to have multiple avenues of lead generation. You can't just kind of rely on one. You
yeah.
know, no matter what your niche is, no matter where you feel more comfortable at, you need to be doing at least four things.
Yeah,
Four.
the thing is, as you said, door knocking and stuff. I always talk about this intent, right? It's all about the intent. Because the intent buys. Intent is a decision to buy. And if somebody doesn't have intent, if they don't have any trust in you, and I mean, you have to understand when you're door knocking, you're just a stranger outside. And many people are losing trust into people because there is increase in robberies, increase of, a criminal activity, increase of unsafety and uncertainty in the times ahead of us. So you have to think like what this homeowner thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them don't even want to open the door
Yep.
because they don't even know who you are. I mean, there are videos online of the Ring doorbells where people actually get in front of your house with the Amazon package and they claim that you got an Amazon package. You open the door and out of nowhere, three guys get with the guns. And how do you expect these people to trust anybody who comes to their door? To let them in their house to check out the stuff? Like we are in this antitrust pandemic, and by
Yeah.
not being out there, by not having a strong personal brand as the roofing company, by not having any ads running or any social media presence, you are just serving yourself an uphill battle that you'll probably never win. Because how do you expect people to trust you? If you have no proof of concept of what you do. And that's why I personally always hated door knocking because you are going out cold. They don't even know who you are. They never saw you most likely in their life, and that's a big issue. It's a totally different story if you door knock when you're doing the roof in the same street. Because then sometimes people actually, when the interested people usually get out in their yards and they actually watch the process. So that means that these guys are actually higher intended than somebody who is inside of the house, right? So
Yep.
I truly believe that with marketing and this side of things, it's going to change the game, especially with the addition of the AI that is getting better every day. Like, did you see the new feature of ChatGPT? Basically, you can give it a prompt to actually, you can type it out and it's going to generate the entire video for you. Like, how insane is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the door knocking thing is a little it is a little tough, man. Like I said, we actually know none of my sales guys have knocked doors. Actually the only person that's on the staff that knocked doors, and like I said, I think I did that for maybe the first 4 months. And I mean, it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it wasn't as like, I wasn't generating as many knocks as some of the guys that are, doing, that's what they live and eat and they breathe by. Um, there is a trust factor in there, you know. And with everything going on in the world, like you said, it makes it harder. And the biggest thing that you can do as a leader or owner, or anybody, sales manager, you got to make it easier for your guys to succeed. So you got to set them up for success. And like I said, I don't knock anybody that does knock doors. I'm not saying you won't generate anything. I'm not saying that you won't. There's guys out there that knock doors that are doing better than me, you know.
Yeah.
But I rather use my time and use my resources in a different avenue, you know, because I want to come across as a professional. Because here's the thing that I heard from a guy, and I won't say his name, but he said,
Sure.
never see a doctor knock on your door. You'll never see a lawyer knock on your door. You'll never see a true professional knock on your door. There's no need to.
Yeah.
When you get a speeding ticket, do the lawyers come knock on your door and say they want to handle your case?
No.
You get either a postcard in the mail, get ad on Facebook, or
Mhm.
the lawyer in your city has like 18, 19 billboards up, or maybe a referral. But you'll never have a true professional come knock on your door. You
That's an amazing point.
gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt too. How do you want everybody to perceive you? And like I said, put yourself in your client's shoes right now. Right now at it's 4:30 right now. And I'm out in the field. So if my wife is home and the kids are home, and let's say, we got a roof, you knock on my door, I can guarantee you my wife is not going to answer it. You can knock
Yeah.
on the neighbor's door, I guarantee you they're not going to answer it. Okay. So you got to put yourself in your client's shoes. How does your client perceive what you're doing? You know,
Hmm.
and you kind of take it from there.
I agree. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's a very, very, hard to get trust of people. I mean, the roofing and this profession is entirely different from, let's say, med spas or any service industry that, there's two different things. First, these guys need to get you inside of their house, and their house is the safe haven. That's some place where you theoretically could say it's your cave. That's where you go to sleep, enjoy with your family, rest, and enjoy the life. Nobody really wants to allow anybody, especially a stranger, move around their house where they keep all their belongings, everything about them, right? And we already discussed about door knocking and stuff, but let's say if we had to rank lead generation methods, and let's say referrals, social media sites, Facebook and Instagram, Google, so Google and the YouTube, Yelp, Home Advisor, and door knocking, how would you rank them? In which order?
Home advisor, Angie's List, bottom of the barrel. Okay. The worst thing you can do. I would never recommend Angie's List. I would never recommend Home Advisor. Honestly, I forgot which one bought out who, but those companies, it's a no go. Honestly, I never understood why guys would even go that route. If you're going to spend that type of money, you should just go put it in Google or Facebook. Okay.
Yeah.
So Angie's List, Home Advisor at the bottom. Then I would put door knocking.
Hmm.
Okay. And I would probably bring your secondary things in like Yelp, Thumbtack to be, the next one up. Google, Facebook, social media. So your Google,
Hmm.
your book platforms. But I would actually put Google over Facebook.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and then my top one would actually be the referrals. So I would have referrals,
Yeah.
Google, Facebook, Thumbtack, Yelp, door knocking, and then home advisor at the very bottom of the barrel.
Home Advisor Hate Club, let's go. Nice. Yeah.
No, we're just gonna take them out. We're not even gonna have any.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, and you're definitely the list is on point, and I'll obviously explain away why. Maybe many people think because I'm selling Google services to roofing contractors that I'm going to say they're better than referrals. No, nothing will ever beat referrals. Because if you're trying to sign with my marketing company right now, its entire difference, and the huge difference would be if I actually had one of my clients reach out to you personally
Mhm,
instead of me, telling you how I'm going to get you leads. You don't care. I mean, you heard this story millions of times, right? But if I'm able to send you to a happy client of mine and then he vouches for my services to you, it's an entire different buy game, because you gain the trust that
mhm.
you need to make the decision.
Yeah, you
And that,
buy from what you're gonna buy from where your friends buy.
yeah.
If I literally go through, we actually made a switch from Job Nimbus to
Hmm.
Proline, our
Hmm.
CRM. But if I would go back through and look through our Job Nimbus, I can honestly say, man, I mean, I I don't think we lost a referral ever last
Hmm.
year. I think any referral we ever had last year ended up being a re-roof, a repair, 100%.
Hmm.
You can't lose on a referral. I think of that being, if you look at your weapon, the referral is like your rifle.
Hmm.
Google will be like your sidearm. So I mean, you can never go wrong. Your referrals will never lead you astray. Um,
Yeah.
my best referrals, man. They literally, like I said, man, they'll literally walk me across to their neighbor's house and it's done. You know,
It's done deal, yeah.
I'll sign a contract with my referral faster than I did with my original client. Honestly,
Mhm.
times out of 10, I normally sign an agreement with them before I would my original client because my my referral client trusts my original client. That's their friend. That's their acquaintance. So once they give that good word of me, they pretty much have sealed the deal. And like I said,
Yeah.
for me and my company. I love the referrals. I literally love them, and I appreciate each and every one I've ever gotten. Like I said, I would not have been so successful early on without my referral business. So, like I said, you're right. Referrals are literally top tier. You'll never go
Yeah.
wrong with those. Treat those
Absolutely.
referrals like gold.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So, because we have the marketing company here, and there's something that we actually notice a lot. Every single roofing contractor I speak to has a bad marketing story. Sometimes where they actually got burned so hard, they actually never want to talk with another marketing company again. What was your bad marketing story when you got burned?
um, honestly, man, it was literally when I was running Facebook ads. Like I said, I can't speak for other business owners out there, but like I said, I'm a pretty, big numbers guy. So I'll look at my numbers and I feel like I know my community. That's like one of my strong suits. Like I'm out here in the trenches. I know my community. Okay. Um, I know my geographic. I know, where everybody kind of falls on the income median. City data is the best thing for a roofing company. You can go check that out. Citydata.com will give you all the insight you need to know. Any location you plan on working in, you plan on, putting a new office in, even if you plan on door knocking a specific city, that would give you a lot of info of where you need to go. Um, so like I said, with that, knowing your market and knowing how your market reacts, um, we wasted tens of thousands of dollars on it, man. Like I said, it was literally a road to the just a tire kicker, the lowest bid, man. Like, um, I hate the word free. My guys
Yeah.
never use the F word. We don't use the F word. Um, so, that was one of the other things that we had in there. And that didn't do too good. When I say we had an enormous amount of leads, yeah, we did. Like, I mean, numbers, if you would look at it at just the numbers and just look at the amount of leads we had, you would thought we were killing it. But the
Yeah.
quality of the leads were horrible. And, I talked to the guys like, man, this is just not what we want to do. Like I said, this may work for somebody else in a different location, and that's great. But for us, it just doesn't work. It didn't work as well. So, that was a pretty bad marketing story, man. I mean, I think we wasted, like I said, tens of thousands of dollars on that, man. They were
Yeah.
low, bottom of the barrel, Facebook leads.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, Facebook is can be horrible.
People hit me up left and right. I mean, I had guys even offer, to do it, at cost. Like, hey man, just let me run your ads for, give me, 3-4 grand ad spend. Let me just run your ads. And if you're not satisfied, don't even worry about it. And even on those offers, I was turned off, man. Like I didn't want to even touch it for a couple months. Um,
Mhm.
Actually, you know what? I don't think we actually even ran another Facebook ad after that for the rest of the year in 2023. That's how bad it was.
Mhm. And this year, you mentioned that you are going to make a change. Why are you deciding that you are going to try it again?
Um,
If I'm not mistaken, obviously.
Yeah, no, 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 no. You're right. So like I said, now, I went back, I educated myself more. Okay, like I said, I found people that they're the professionals in this. I learned, I joined a bunch of different marketing groups, and I would give that advice to other fellow companies too, man. Kind of, learn what's going on. Just like how you teach your salespeople the components of different roofing systems, learn the components of, different marketing systems as well, so you can kind of have an idea of what's really going on. Um, and like I said, this year it's all about elevating the guys that are next to me. So elevating my team and, giving them every everything I can to help them be successful. So
Mhm.
this year we're gonna make a different change. We're gonna revamp. We're gonna, once our website is back up and our new website's up and running. Shout out to Dean. He's doing our website. Good guy.
Odin.
Yep, he's doing our website. Super good
Mhm.
guy. Once that's up and running, man, with the SEO, and then Alice is going to be doing some Google stuff for us, man. I think we're gonna kill it. It's going to
Mhm.
be a good year. Um, I'm
Who's
looking.
doing the Google stuff?
Huh?
Who's doing the Google stuff?
You, man.
Ah, okay. I thought,
Come on
what,
now.
Alex?
Come on.
No,
Man.
no, no. I'm
Like,
humbled. Thank you, thank you.
he said, "Nah, I'm not going to do trades. I'm not going to do them."
Yeah, yeah. No threats. Come on, man. Don't give up yet.
Nah, so like I said, man, I'm looking forward to it. The team is super excited about it. Like I said, I got some killers on my squad, man. Like these guys are literally performing left and right. And once they start getting a high quality of lead flow, I'm just gonna sit back and just watch these guys just crush it, man. And I know it's
Yeah,
gonna be a great year. Um,
yeah.
know it's gonna be a great year, and maybe this year we may even be able to double down and increase that revenue twofold this year.
Yep.
Um, and like I said, for that, find somebody that does the marketing, find somebody that's their niche. They eat, sleep, live it, um, and work with them and get your stuff on the right path, and then your business is going to succeed. I always tell people, look at your numbers now, and then imagine if you did 20% more than what you did last year,
Yeah.
10% what you did last year. I mean, the numbers will be crazy. So, you can tap into a market that either A, you're not using now, or you're not generating as much as you would like to generate. You can go and tap into that market and really, start generating what you want, and get your guys out there, get yourself out there, man, and you're good, you know.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of, newer guys that are, just getting in. I spoke with a couple of guys this year and late last year who are just starting out, or just getting into their companies, or their first couple months, man. And that was the best advice I gave them. I was like, man, find you somebody that's good, man. Invest that money that you are making, and find what your goals are. If your first year, you want a revenue of this, make you a plan on how to achieve that revenue. Have you a clear cut vision of how you're going to achieve that, and then do it.
Yeah.
Then and double down and do it next year. And then as you scale and as you get as you grow, it's only going to get better from there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's for sure. And something I like to ask every roofing company or the roofer before we end the stream is, what is the advice you would give to your younger self? To somebody who just has $18 in his bank account and has this crazy idea of building 7.2 million business a year. What is the advice that is going to take you there in a month, 2 months, 3 months? You know?
Um, Honestly, man, it's really how bad you want it. Like, are you going to get up in the morning and you're going to hustle? You're going to dedicate yourself, or you're going to learn your craft? It's so much to really do. Um, and you like I said, man, you got to have a clear cut vision. Write that stuff down. You know, um, Literally, I remember my first month, man. I had a couple of photos in my truck of some things that I wanted to accomplish, man. I look at that every single day. You know, um,
Visualization, yeah.
yeah, find you three guys that are where you want to be at. Follow them. Reach
Mhm.
out to them. I mean, dude, there's a couple of guys, man. I've probably blown their inboxes up,
Mhm.
asking advice, wanting to get on a phone call with them, dude. Talk to these guys, man. Learn from them, because they're exactly where you want to be at. Um, and there's plenty of other guys with the same story I had. They started from nothing as well, and then look where they are too. So I mean, it can be done. It's not
Mhm.
like it can't be done. It can be done. You're just going to have to put in a little extra work to really get to that point, and you can't give up, man. Even on
Yeah.
your worst day, you got to go. You got to work.
Okay.
Nobody else is working. So I feel like as long as you have a good work ethic, your grind, you hustle, follow your own, man. It's gonna happen to you in God's time. So just keep yourself motivated, and just don't give up. Keep it going.
Okay. I agree. I mean, that's a good advice, and I think it's a good note to end this podcast on. And yeah, thank you, Trey, for being part of it. And I hope we got all the teams discussed. And definitely, thank you so much for sharing your story, especially the Army one. I mean, I imagine it was hard to share that. So yeah, thank you so much for being the guest. And let's run it back one more time in a few months, maybe.
Yeah, man. No, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's actually my first podcast this year, so thanks for that.
Nice, nice.
Appreciate it.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can obviously stay. It just uh I already mentioned that I'm gonna have it ended at some point. Sorry about that. Cool. Yeah. So what do you think about it? Do you think it was a good podcast? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm quite new in podcasting world. This is not something I do. I used to be a video game live streamer and do like gaming and stuff, but I never did podcasts. So I hope it made
yeah,
sense.
man. I've done a couple, but I mean, there really wasn't like